Exodus chapter 38. Bezalel constructed the altar of burnt offering from acacia wood. It was square, 7.5 feet long and 7.5 feet wide, and was 4.5 feet high. He made horns for it on its four corners. The horns were of one piece with it. Then he overlaid it with bronze. He made all the altar's utensils, the pots, shovels, basins, meat forks, the fire pans. He made all its utensils of bronze. He constructed for the altar a grate of bronze mesh under its ledge, halfway up from the bottom. He cast 4 rings at the four corners of the bronze grate as holders for the poles. He made the poles of acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. Then he inserted the poles into the ring on the sides of the altar in order to carry it with them. He constructed the altar with boards so that it was hollow. He made the bronze basin and its stand from the bronze mirrors of the woman who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. Then he made the courtyard. The hangings on the south side of the courtyard were of finely spun linen, 100 feet long, including their 20 posts and their 20 bronze basins, with silver hooks and silver bands for the posts. The hangings on the north side were also 100 feet long, including their 20 posts and 20 bronze bases. The hooks and bands of the posts were silver. The hangings on the west side were 75 feet long, including their 10 posts and their 10 bases, with silver hooks and silver bands for the posts. And for the east side towards the sunrise, 75 feet long, the hangings on one side of the gate were 22.5 feet, including their 3 posts and 3 bases. It was the same for the other side of the courtyard gate. The hangings were 22.5 feet, including their 3 posts and their 3 bases. All the hangings around the courtyard were of finely spun linen. The bases for the posts were bronze. The hooks and hands of the posts were silver, and the plating for the tops of the posts were silver. All the posts of the courtyard were banded with silver. The screen for the gate of the courtyard was made of finely spun linen, expertly embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. It was 30 feet long and wide. The hangings of the courtyard, 7.5 feet high. It had 4 posts with their 4 bronze bases. Their hooks were silver, and their top plating and their hands were silver. All the tent pegs for the tabernacle and for the surrounding courtyard were bronze. This is the inventory for the tabernacle of testimony that was recorded at Moses' command. It was the work of the Levites under the direction of Itamar, son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel, son of Ur, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made everything that the Lord commanded Moses. With him was Oholiab, son of Ahimaach of the tribe of Dan, a gem cutter, a designer, and an embroiderer, with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine linen. All the gold of the presentation offering that was used for the project in all the work of the sanctuary was 2,193 pounds, according to the sanctuary checker. The silver from those of the community who were registered was 7,544 pounds, according to the sanctuary shekel. 1/5 of an ounce per man, that is half a shekel according to the sanctuary shekel, from everyone 20 years old or more who had crossed over to the registered group, 550,000 men. There were 7,500 pounds of silver used to cast the bases of the sanctuary and the bases of the curtain. 100 bases from 7,500 pounds, 75 pounds for each base, with the remaining 44 pounds. He made the hooks for the posts, overlaid their tops with supplied hands for them. The bronze of the presentation offering totaled 5,310 pounds. He made with it the basis for the entrance to the tent of meeting, the bronze altar and its bronze grate, all the utensils for the altar, the bases for the surrounding courtyard, the bases for the gate of the courtyard, all the tent pegs for the tabernacle, and all the tent pegs for the surrounding courtyard. Exodus 39. They made specially woven garments for ministry in the sanctuary, the holy garments for Aaron, from the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, just as the Lord has commanded Moses. Bezalel made the ephod of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely spun linen. They hammered out thin sheets of gold, and he cut the threads from them to interweave with the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and the fine linen. In a skillful design, they made shoulder pieces for attaching it. It was joined together at its two edges. The artistically woven waistband that was on the ephod was of one piece with the ephod, according to the same workmanship of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely spun linen, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. When they mounted the onyx stones surrounded with gold filigree settings engraved with the names of Israel's sons, as a gem cutter engraves a seal, he fastened them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the Israelites, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. He also made the embroidered breastpiece with the same workmanship as the ephod of gold and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely spun linen. They made the breastpiece square and folded double, 9 inches long and 9 inches wide. They mounted 4 rows of gemstones on it. The first row, a row of carnelian, topaz, and emerald. The second row, a turquoise, a lapis lazuli, and a diamond. The third row, a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were surrounded with gold filigree in their settings. The 12 stones corresponded to the names of Israel's sons. Each stone was engraved like a seal with one of the names of the 12 tribes. They made braided chains of pure gold cord for the breastpiece. They also fashioned 2 gold filigree settings and 2 gold rings and attached the 2 rings to its 2 corners. Then they attached the 2 gold cords to the 2 gold rings on the corners of the breastpiece. They attached the other ends of the 2 cords to the 2 filigree settings, and in this way they attached them to the ephod's shoulder pieces in front. They made 2 other gold rings and put them at the 2 other corners of the breastpiece on the edge that is next to the inner border of the ephod. They made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the bottom of the ephod's 2 shoulder pieces in its front, close to its seam, above the ephod's woven waistband. Then they tied the breastpiece from its ring to the ring of the ephod with a cord of blue yarn, so that the breastpiece was above the ephod's waistband and did not come loose from the ephod. They did just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made the tunics of fine woven linen for Aaron and his sons. They made the turban and the ornate handband of fine linen, the linen undergarment of finely spun linen, and the sash of finely spun linen, expertly embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. They did just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made a medallion, the holy diadem, out of pure gold, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving on a seal, "Holy to the Lord." They attached a cord of blue yarn to it in order to mount it on the turban, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. So all the work for the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, was finished. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent with all its furnishings, its clasps, its supports, its crossbars, and its pillars and bases. The covering of hen skin, dried red, and the covering of fine leather, the curtain for the screen, the ark of the testimony with its poles, and the mercy seat, the table, all the utensils, and the bread of the presence, the pure gold lampstand with its lamps arranged, and all its utensils, as well as the oil for the light, the gold altar, the anointing oil, the fragrant incense, the screen for the entrance to the tent, the bronze altar with its bronze grate, its poles, and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, the hangings of the courtyard, its posts and bases, the screen for the gate of the courtyard, its ropes and tent pegs, and all the furnishings for the service of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and the specially woven garments for ministering in the sanctuary, the whole garments for the priest Aaron, and the garments for his sons to servant priests. The Israelites had done all the work according to everything the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected all the work they had accomplished. They had done just as the Lord commanded. Then Moses blessed them.
Exodus 40. The Lord spoke to Moses, You are to set up a tabernacle, the tent of meeting, on the first day of the first month. Put the ark on the testimony there, and screen off the ark with the curtain. Then bring in the table and lay out its arrangements. Also bring in the lampstand and set up its lamps. Place the gold altar for incense in front of the ark of the testimony. Put up the screen for the entrance to the tabernacle. Position the altar of burnt offerings in front of the entrance to the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Place the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it, assemble the surrounding courtyard, and hang the screen for the gate of the courtyard. Take the anointing oil and anoint the tabernacle and everything in it. Consecrate it along with all its furnishings, so that it will be holy. Anoint the altar of burnt offerings, and all of its utensils. Consecrate the altar so that it will be especially holy. Anoint the basin and its stand and consecrate it. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance to the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Clothe Aaron with the holy garment, anoint him and consecrate him, so that he can serve me as a priest. Have his sons come forward and clothe them in tunics. Anoint them just as you anointed their fathers, so that they may also serve me as priests. Their anointing will serve to inaugurate a permanent priesthood for them throughout their generations. Moses did everything just as the Lord had commanded him. The tabernacle was set up in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month. Moses set up the tabernacle. He said, its basis positioned, its supports inserted, its crossbar, and set up its pillars. Then he spread the tent over the tabernacle and put the covering of the tent on top of it, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses took the testimony and placed it in the ark, and attached the poles of the ark. He set the mercy seat on top of the ark. He brought the ark into the tabernacle, put up the curtain for the screen, and screened off the ark of the testimony, just as the Lord had commanded him. Moses placed the table in the tent of meeting on the north side of the tabernacle, outside the curtain. He arranged the bread on it before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. He put the lampstand on the tent of meeting opposite the table on the south side of the tabernacle. and set up the lamp before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded him. Moses installed the gold altar in the tent of meeting in front of the curtain, and burned fragrant incense on it, just as the Lord had commanded him. He put up the screen and entrance to the tabernacle. He placed the altar of burnt offerings at the entrance of the tabernacle. The tent of meeting and the offering offered the burnt offering and the grain offering on it, just as the Lord had commanded him. He set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it for washing. Moses, Aaron, and his sons washed their hands and feet from it. They washed whenever they came to the tent of meeting and approached the altar, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Next, Moses set up the surrounding courtyard for the tabernacle and the altar, and hung a screen for the gate of the courtyard. So Moses finished the work. The cloud covered the tent of the meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses was unable to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud rested on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. The Israelites set out whenever the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle throughout all the stages of their journey. If the cloud was not taken up, they did not set out until the day it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was over the tabernacle by day, and there was a fire inside the cloud by night, visible to the entire house of Israel throughout all the stages of their journey.